How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am back for the next entry of Ace Month as we are doing Lost Heroes of the Golden Age. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. We are going to be covering Lash,
Flash,
Lightning. Now, the interesting thing about this is he is not the feature of his first appearance, even though he is on the cover of his first appearance. I know, that's much the same way as Magno with his first appearance. He was the featured cover, but was not the featured story of his first appearance. So, Lash,
Flash,
Lightning is following in the tradition. Now, when he was in his first sets of comics, he was the cover feature, and the comic would later be changed to his name as Lightning. And then he would be the covered and the feature story of every one of those issues before he became as part of 4 favorites. Now, Lash...
Flash.
Why do you keep doing that?
His name is Flash Lightning.
Okay, yes, he was Flash Lightning at first, but there were a lot of problems associated with that name.
What kind of problem?
DC, which would have been National Periodicals at the time. Look, I'll get into what the problem was. It's probably one of 2 issues, but I'll explain it in the video. But just know that his name was changed, and he is Lash Lightning. They dropped the F. It wasn't me. Now, Lash, it is Lash, did get a partner. Now, I don't know if they necessarily counted this as a sidekick, because it was a female, much of the same age, and she had the same powers. And usually when you have 2 people with the same powers, they are known as partners instead of sidekicks, the same way it was with Dynamic Man and Dynamic Boy. So let's go ahead and cover Lash Lightning and Lightning Girl. I mean, it's more about him than it is her. Same powers. She's just, I think she was added on to just give him a little more flavor. She is blonde, so there's a lot of flavor there.
Oh, yeah.
And don't get started. All right, so let's get started with this.
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
You had to get that in, didn't you? Oh, before we forget, this is a request video. It was requested by this guy, and this video was actually the inspiration for wanting to do Ace Month. So, let's get this video started. Flash Lightning, who went just by Lightning in the comics, is Robert Morgan. He first appeared in Surefire Comics #1 in 1940, published by Ace, created by Jim Mooney and Bob Turner. And if you're familiar with the Golden Age, Jim Mooney will sound familiar. Now, one of the things to start off with, the title of his comic went by Flash Lightning, which would later be called Lash Lightning. Which was kind of weird because in his stories, he was always known as Lightning. But the title was Flash Lightning, which they would later change to Lash Lightning, because at the same time this character came out, DC also had a character. So they either changed the name by dropping the F because they were afraid of DC coming after them, or DC did threaten to come after them. The end result is they dropped the S and went by Flash, even though in the comic books he remained Lash. He was Lightning in the comic books. Never went by Flash or Lash. It is kind of interesting. In the origin stories, the old man that gives him his power says, "I name you Flash Lightning." And that is the only time that he is referred to as Flash, because he would go as Lightning after that. Now, he would start off in Surefire Comics, and like Magno, even though in his first appearance he is the covered feature, he is not the covered story, but he would be after that for the second appearance. Now, he was such a popular person that after 3 issues in Surefire Comics, they would actually name the comics after him and would go to Lightning Comics for a number of issues. Let's see, it would, the Surefire Comics would follow 1, 2, 3, and then Lightning would follow that numbering, starting with 4, 5, and 6. And then they would have 6 issues under Volume 2, and 1 issue as Volume 3. And I think the only reason there was Volume 3 was so they could introduce Lightning Girl, because they wouldn't put out any more issues as part of Volume 3. Now, Flash Lightning would also join 4 Favorites, but I think that he was part of 4 Favorites before Lightning Girl was introduced, because she wasn't with him in the first 5 issues, but she would join him at, I believe, in issue 6, and she would be in all the other issues after that. I know a lot of people would think of Lightning Girl as a sidekick, but I believe that she was more of a partner. Now, Lash Lightning, I keep going between Flash and Lash because of the name change. He had many different abilities. He had super strength, super speed, could fly, and radiated heat. He had a measure of invulnerability. I believe that at one point he caught a grenade with his bare hands that it exploded in his hand, and he was able to contain the explosion. In the description, she said he had to recharge. I don't remember him ever grabbing onto a generator or everything, talking about recharging his abilities. Now, Flash, or Lash, or Lightning, there were a couple of reoccurring villains that he fought. He did battle the Nazis a time or two, but not to the extent of the patriotic superheroes. His battles would be contained mostly to America, where he would fight things that you wouldn't normally associate with other superheroes. He took on werewolf men. I believe he took on a frog person, a guy with reptile skin in his first issue. I don't think he battled the reptile skin guy. He actually did go to another country to free a scientist. So not all the episodes were primarily in America, or well, not all of them were in America, but mostly primary to America. He would kill some of the bad guys if it meant stopping them once and for all, and little regard for animal life if they were threatening him. So he would go to the extreme levels that he needed to. So let's see. Now, when I first saw his outfit, I thought that he resembled one of the Golden Age spacefarers. He looked like he had an outer space outfit. I didn't associate him with lightning at all. I mean, the lightning on his chest surrounding, it's kind of silly. Apparently, the outfits changed a little bit closer to the end of his run. I don't know if that was a way of trying to make him go forward, but they did try experimenting a little bit right near the end. Apparently, his powers are bestowed to him by an old man who is prominently featured in the stories, beginning and end, until it becomes Lightning Comic, and then I think he has one more appearance after that, to where it's just Lightning going to where he needs to. So, let's go ahead and cover the first issue. I just thought that I would mention here real quick, he did appear in Project Superpowers. He appeared alongside of the other Mystery Men, which would have been the collection of Ace comic book characters in there. He really didn't say anything, had a couple of lines, very minor role. Alright, we start off. Flash, lightning, Egypt, the land of eerie mystery, birthplace of the black arts and weird wisdom. Weird wisdom? A great evil is rising to strangle the world. Crimes on the march under the gruesome black banner of doom. Only one man is determined to save the world. He is the ageless old man of the pyramids. We meet him in the Egyptian temple with Robert Morgan, a young American he has schooled in the ancient and modern sciences. I love the sentence that comes out of the old man. The day has come, Robert Morgan, for you are to go out into the world and fulfill your destiny. You alone can stop the spread of evil. Here it comes. On you the world's salvation depends. You are not afraid? No, honored sir, I have not forgotten your teachings. That is not what he asked you. Okay, so basically we see Robert Morgan. He's been trained in the arts, and he gets the amulet that is bestowed upon him, which can only be used for the sight of right. Yeah. But this is where he says, I name you Flash Lightning, and at no other time will he be called Flash Lightning. Even the text boxes later in the story will just call him Lightning. Okay, well, one more time, Flash Lightning, but that's the last time. He just goes by Lightning. So we see him testing out his powers, throwing the lightning bolts. I mean, he tells him to blast this thing of boulders, and then he's like, not so fast, my impetuous young student. You do not realize your great power. And in the very next frame, he's throwing the power bolt. I mean, what was the point of stopping if you're just going to let him do it? I mean, I don't understand. Okay, so he streaks like lightning through the air. Directed by the old man, he lands on the pier at the New York harbor. So the ship sails into the harbor, and we see the Reptile Man. As he's being escorted off of the ship, a curtain of fire pops out of these two cars and fries the Reptile Man. Apparently the police officers were able to not get hit by the curtain of fire. Those fiends, but what is this in his hair? A metal tube and a note. Why are you messing with him? Let the police handle this. Okay. The message to May Parker. 17.5 Spink Street? What kind of address has a half? Okay. The poison of red ant bites. The poison of red ant bites fill my brains. The Jewel Men are close behind me. Spies of the Phoenix are waiting along the coast. Even if I can stow away to New York, I won't be safe. If someone finds this, tell Mary Parker that her father and some of his party are still alive, and he gives the coordinates signed by John Rome. On a nearby roof, some stranger has the message. Take it down as I dictate. Okay, so he flies to this address and sees, or to the home of Miss Parker, I guess this is the maid answering the door, and starts talking to her about the note that she found, and the father, see, the man who died on the pier is a friend of Dad's. Why was he the Reptile Man? He accompanied him on a secret expedition to the Central America 6 months ago. Last month, Dad's letter stopped coming. I was afraid he had died, so I guess the letter was just a way to get to her. Anyways, as they're talking, he says, let's see, you'll help me, won't you? Of course, now say, who's that at the door? A black cape, a warning from the Phoenix. Don't be frightened, who's this Phoenix? Mention his dad's arch enemies, and she says there's an undertaker at the door with 2 coffins. So obviously you should go out immediately to see the 2 coffins. As they go out, they are fired upon, And we see flexing his muscles, Lightning deflects the bullets from his powerful body. See, they're calling him Lightning at this point. The gunmen are exclaiming he ain't human. He goes and busts their heads up together. And let's see, he tries to get Mary back into the house, but there is a curtain of fire. Better try the roof. Out of the way, you apes. And then they're on the roof all of a sudden. And she says that they're trapped, so he throws Lightning down and blows up the car. The thugs vanquish. Lightning speeds through the sky, carrying the startled May Parker in his arms. I'm sorry, did I say May? I think I meant Mary. Yeah, Mary. Spider-Man on the brain. Let's see. Lightning approaches the coordinates that was given on the letter, and we seem to be... I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's an African tribe. So they land down, and she says that the chief is friendly, and then they are attacked by tribal men wearing alligator skins, apparently. So he starts fighting them using nature. I mean, look at the scene. He's throwing trees at them. Okay. This is the native spear. It was made by machine. Evil white men give them to jewel men. Okay. They point them at this volcano, and as they're off, let's see, immediately they stride out through the jungle towards a volcano, but the girl slips and plunges into a crocodile-infested stream. Oh, she is so accident-prone. As she falls into the water, Lightning goes in and tears one of the alligator's jaws apart. That's what it says. Okay, they finally get to the entrance, and he knocks out one of the guys. And I guess he takes the spear. Let's see. Not a sound or you die. Mary, get his keys. So they go in, and they see these guys in diapers being whipped by another man in alligator skins. It's horrible, those poor men. And there's, yes, I'm sure it is. It's Dad. Now, this is so weird. They start having a massive conversation with her dad before Lightning takes out the guards. I really think that should have been the other way around. Hey, let's have a conversation and then defeat the guards. I'm sure they'll be fine with that. Just as he beats the guards, the accident-prone Mary falls through a trap door, and Lightning thinks that he can get to her by going through the top of the cavern. As he makes a space for himself, throws one of the alligator men off of the cliff, gets tackled by a snake, and ties it up in knots. It really says that. Lightning's powerful hands ties the huge reptile into knots. I guess that'll hold you for a while. The poor snake, it's only acting on instinct. Okay, so more tribal men and alligators throw Mary into a pit of serpents, and Lightning jumps into the pit to save her. He kills all the snakes, and let's see, the Phoenix pops out. Stop, the Phoenix commands. And as for you, my American friend, you are my prisoner. A slight pressure of my hand, and I can blow the entire volcano. So he blows up the panel. You're not going to blow up the volcano that way. What about Dad? What's happened to him? Don't worry. We'll free all the chained men now. I thought you'd already freed all the chained men. You beat up the guards. Okay, he goes in there and frees the men. Everybody beat up the alligator guards, and they start leaving in a gigantic line, and a plane approaches. We have to get Dad to a doctor. We will. Look. We will. Face, look. A plane. It's the Phoenix. Okay, so in this panel over here, it says, bombs rain down on the party as Lightning prepares the throw. I really hope that he'd stop those bombs before they killed anybody. It says, rains on the party. It doesn't say anything about him stopping the bombs, it just shows bombs exploding around him. I really hope he saved them. Okay, he throws a lightning bolt and it hits its mark. You hit it, it's going into the crater and the end of the Phoenix. Thank heaven. It still hasn't said whether lightning stopped the bombs or not. And they never stated. They said the bombs were in on the party. As far as I can tell, they all died. Except for Mary. Okay, the Phoenix crashes. At home, lightning finds a visitor. Well done, my boy, but there are other great evils for you to fight. I am ready, ancient sir. What new task will the old man of the pyramids assign to Flash Lightning? Follow his dashing career in the next issue. Yeah, I pretty much explained how these videos go. The old man directs him to fight criminals at first, and then he just goes on his own. In some issues, we do see him in a civilian clothing, but we never really see what his job is. We don't know if he has a job. He's just a guy who fights crime. I think they might have been at a baseball game when he changes into his outfit. So they show that he can do an instantaneous change, but he pretty much goes around and fights bad guys. Occasionally Nazis, but that's Flash Lightning. Alrighty, I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun with this character. I have another entry for Ace Month, but I'm still looking for one more hero for the 4th week before we get into the 5th week where we will cover the villains. Now, if I don't get enough requests, there's plenty of Ace characters. I can always figure one out. But if there is one that you want to see while we're specifically covering the Ace heroes, just let me know. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.